YouTube? IBFigs here. Welcome to another custom tutorial video on this channel. If you missed the first one we did on the Zack Ryder Elite Wrestlemania 32 figure, check it out in the card up there. That was a lot of fun to make, and we'll be making another video here today. As you can see, we have two Elite Batista figures here, both from 2014. Now at this point of the video, I am unsure whether I'm converting these two into a WrestleMania 30 Batista or a Raw 2014 full black attire Batista. I am unsure at this point, but you'll know by the end. It doesn't matter which attire we're going to make, we definitely need both of these figures. This one has the great arm tattoos, this one has the more accurate body mold, and all of that. The trunk piece on this one, we'll get into that more. I don't want to waste any of your time right now, but the things you will need, because we will be unfortunately having to torso crack both of these, you will need a flathead screwdriver, a box cutter slash craft knife, depending on which country you live in. To paint these black leg sleeves slash knee pads, you'll need black paint. It's recommended that you use Citadel paint. Citadel is one of the best brands to use for action figures or like any models. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need. Plus we need boiling hot water to switch all the parts over and soften the glue up so we can crack the torsos. I'm no expert on torso cracking, so you're gonna have to bear with me in this video. I've done it a couple times before, but we're just gonna have to see how we go. So yeah, I'll see you at the table. I wasn't able to get as much footage of this as I would have liked. There's only really footage of me cracking open the top half of the Elite Series 30 torso. As you can see, both the figures going into the hot water for about 5 minutes before we even attempt anything. Now, the tutorial you really want to follow if you want to know how to torso crack is from Mad Reaper Studios. The link to his video is down below. It's a much better help than this, because obviously limited footage, and Mad Reaper Studios is way more experienced than me. But one thing that you definitely need that I didn't include before is you really need gloves, and you'll see in a minute. As you can see, I'm going in with the flathead screwdriver into the shoulder socket of each. The smaller the flathead screwdriver, the better. And as you can see, listen closely, that sound right there, that is a successful crack of the top half. Now the bottom half, I didn't really get much footage of this because it was a lot tougher. First of all, the blade snapped. You'll see this in a minute, and I cut myself, which is why you need the gloves. You can't really see it really well in the clip coming up, but it just slipped slightly and it got the inside of my thumb. You really do need gloves for this. Here we are with the finished product. Oh, this looks fantastic. Just kidding. This is just the leftover parts. I've decided to put it back together because why not? So it's a nice back piece at least. So there's that. But the one that we've really been doing it for is this one. So just to run over the parts that I've used to put this one together. Elite Series 33 head, torso and legs, and has the Elite Series 30 arms and trunk piece to get that nice logo on the back that would have just been impossible to paint onto this, just yeah, with the colors being different and all that. I'm no expert on detailed painting, but yeah, this one has the more accurate head and more accurate torso, and at the time of the release this one did have a unique torso. I did have to crack the trunk piece as well, because the hip joint, they're different on both. This one, the Elite Series 30, it had a ratchet joint, and this one had a ball joint, so you couldn't just swap the legs straight over, had to crack the piece open. But really happy with this so far. Haven't painted the legs yet, but if you wanted to finish your Batista by having it at Raw 2014, all you have to do is paint the legs and the boots black and put the knee pads back on. I've got black knee pads, and I've painted like a grey trim on top because he had like grey leg sleeves underneath. But I've decided to go the extra mile and do his WrestleMania 30 attire. So in that he had no hair, so I'm going to have to remove the hair with nail polish remover. I could use this one, but this head's just way more accurate. And the trunks on the WrestleMania 30 attire were the same as this, but the design was green, so I'm going to go over that with probably a green Sharpie rather than painting it, because then the lines would come off all, well, it just wouldn't look as good. So I'm going to go over with that with the Sharpie, do the leg sleeves black, and the boots green. So I guess I'll see you back at the table. Starting off with painting the leg sleeves, basically you just want to get a blob of black paint. I just used the Mighty 8 bag, that's where I bought the paint, it's pretty cheap. Yeah, I got the blob of black paint and mixed 1 or 2 drops of water with it to thin the paint out, so when you apply it to the figure it's thin enough that you don't see brush strokes. Now with this you will have to do probably at least 2 or 3 coats of the black paint to cover it all since it's so thin, but honestly the end product this way is a lot better and it looks kind of like it came from the factory since you can't see the brush strokes. So yeah. When it comes to removing the hair on the figure, I know I said in the Zack Ryder tutorial that clear nail polish is better because it doesn't risk damaging the plastic, but for using nail polish remover on the head it's actually fine because the head is made of thicker plastic, so it's more durable, it's less likely to damage the plastic, and it also has to have acetone or else it really won't remove anything. So you get the Q-tip or whatever you want to use, and it can take a little while. So you do have to be patient with it, but let's see the finished product. Are you guys ready to see it? The WrestleMania 30 attire Elite Custom Batista action figure. Here it is, finally complete with the green shoes and the green design on the back with all the hair removed. I'm sorry I didn't show you guys more of that process, but honestly it's just, I went over it roughly with the leg sleeves on how to paint it, and it's pretty much the same process with the boots. I just left a little bit of the white trim at the bottom, and to get that color I used more Citadel paint. I used Moot Green from Citadel with a mix of white and grey, since it wasn't as saturated on his shoes. And with the back, I was telling you guys earlier that I would use a green Sharpie. I found a lime green Sharpie, which is probably the closest Sharpie color to it. And instead of just drawing it straight on, so it would look uneven, I drew a little bit on, then I'd smudge it. I draw a little bit more on, then smudge it, and then I kept going until it was all done, so it looked more even. And then I used Mod Podge. Honestly, I used, well, mixed in with a touch of water, I used honestly like 7 or 8 coats over this so the Sharpie wouldn't smudge off even further. So very happy with how that is, and I also used Mod Podge on the leg sleeves and the boots just so it wasn't prone to chipping. And with the head, with all the hair removed, I did attempt something. I'll just remove all this out of the way. With the Elite Series 30 Batista, the beard, you probably can't even really tell, but it has a slight 5 o'clock shadow. Now I attempted a similar thing with this. I used a mix of Cadian flesh tone, a little bit of brown, and a tiny bit of black to try to blend in a slight 5 o'clock shadow like Batista did have at WrestleMania 30. Yeah, you can't really see it, but it is slightly darker around the chin area, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This is definitely the most complicated custom I've had to complete at this point, and I'm very happy with it. This is how it would look if Mattel released it, because obviously it doesn't have the Gracie Fighter logos and the Air Jordan logos. There's just no way I would have been able to paint that, and honestly, in a way, I'm happier that it's like this, because it kind of blends in with the rest of the collection, with it being the way Mattel would have made it. So very happy with that. Hope you all enjoyed. Now honestly, this is probably the last one of these custom tutorials I'm doing in a while, so I really hope you enjoyed, and if there are any suggestions you have in the comments for other custom attires I should maybe attempt, please leave them down below. I'd be interested to see. I probably won't be doing one in a while, but I'd like to see your ideas, to see what you think. Hope you found this video informative. Hope you attempt something like this, or that full black 2014 Raw attire that I was telling you about earlier. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.